Sometimes, a man's care doesn't show up in big, dramatic gestures. It doesn't always look like flowers, gifts, or poetic declarations. Often, it appears quietly, in the soft places of daily life, in the small moments you almost overlook, in the gentle ways he shows up without drawing attention to himself. Real caring is subtle. It's calm. It's steady. It's the kind of presence you feel more than you hear. And if you're not paying attention, you might miss how deeply he actually values you. Because men don't always express love with words. Many express it with actions, with consistency, with the way they make room for you in their world. Sometimes you wonder if he actually cares, or if you're just imagining it. But the signs are always there, hidden in the way he behaves when he thinks you're not noticing. A man who cares will reveal himself in how he listens, how he protects, how he adapts, and how he quietly tries to make your life easier. He pays attention to your smallest details, the way your voice changes when you're tired, the way you touch your hair when you feel nervous, the way your mood shifts when something is bothering you. He notices, not because he's studying you like a puzzle, but because your presence matters to him. When he remembers something tiny you said weeks ago, it's not coincidence, it's care. A caring man doesn't disappear when life gets busy. He doesn't make excuses. He doesn't place you at the bottom of his priorities. Instead, he makes time, even if it's just a few minutes, because he wants to stay connected. Time is one of the purest forms of love, and when he gives it freely, it speaks louder than anything he could ever say. You'll see his care in how he adjusts his behavior to protect your peace. He avoids things that trigger you, and he leans into the things that soothe you. He doesn't want to be another source of stress in your life. He wants to be the presence that makes you breathe easier. And maybe the most beautiful sign of all, he includes you in his future, even in small ways. He talks about plans, dreams, places, and experiences, and somehow, without forcing it, you're always part of the picture. Caring turns into connection, and connection turns into quiet hope. This intro is your reminder. Real love often whispers. It doesn't always announce itself. But when a man truly cares, his actions become the language, a language made of gentle effort, emotional awareness, and subtle devotion. If you've ever wondered whether he cares more deeply than he says, pay attention to the patterns, not the promises. Sometimes the quietest signs reveal the loudest truth. He cares for you more than you know. 1. He remembers the little things you say. When a man truly cares, he doesn't just listen. He pays attention in a way that feels almost effortless. You might make a passing comment about how you love a certain snack, a fragrance, a quote, or a childhood memory, and weeks later, he brings it up naturally, proving he remembered. Caring shows in the smallest ways, the way he recalls your favorite drink, the exact way you like your tea, the song you loved when you were 16, or even the story you told him once at 2 a.m. It's not about grand gestures. It's about emotional presence. He stores your words like they matter because, to him, they do. When he remembers something tiny that even you forgot sharing, it means he's genuinely invested, not out of obligation but out of real affection. He listens even when you think he's distracted, and he recalls details because your voice stays with him long after the conversation ends. This kind of memory doesn't come from convenience. It comes from care. When he remembers your comfort food on bad days, the things that make you smile, the things that annoy you, or even the dream you casually shared, that's him showing love quietly, without needing to announce it. To him, your words aren't background noise. They are pieces of you he wants to hold on to. 2. He checks on you without being asked. A man who cares doesn't wait for you to reach out. He reaches first, not in a controlling way, but in a gentle, consistent, and sincere way. He sends a message when it rains because he knows you might forget your umbrella. He calls when you sound tired. He asks if you made it home safely. He checks how you slept or how your day is going, not because he has to, but because you matter to him. His care shows through presence, not pressure. His check-ins are never about monitoring you. They're about making sure you feel supported. He doesn't want a crisis to be the reason he appears. He wants to be part of your everyday life, the steady, comforting presence who makes things feel lighter just by asking, "Are you okay?" This kind of care is rare because it's selfless. Checking on you means he thinks about you during his day, even when he's busy. It means your well-being crosses his mind naturally, without reminders. Real care isn't loud, it's consistent. When he checks on you without being asked, he is quietly saying, "You're important to me." 3. He notices when your mood changes. Someone who cares doesn't need a dramatic shift to sense something is off. He notices the small things, the silence between your messages, the softness in your tone, the smile that feels a little forced, or the way your energy drops even slightly. He pays attention, not because he studies you, but because he feels you. Caring creates awareness. He senses when you're overwhelmed, overstimulated, or emotionally tired, even when you pretend everything is fine. He might ask gently, "What's wrong?" Or he might simply sit beside you, offering comfort without demanding explanations. He knows when to give space and when to stay close. When he notices your mood shift, he adjusts. He speaks softer, listens more, or tries to lighten the atmosphere. Sometimes he'll distract you. Other times he'll help you open up. What matters is he responds. He doesn't ignore your emotional changes or brush them aside. A man who notices your mood changes is a man who cares deeply, because it means he truly sees you. 4. He listens more than he talks. When a man truly cares, he listens with intention, not obligation. His silence isn't distance, it's devotion. He listens because he wants to understand you, not because he's waiting for his turn to speak. You can tell by the way he looks at you, how his expressions shift with your emotions, how he reacts quietly but meaningfully when you share something heavy or personal. You'll notice he doesn't interrupt. He doesn't rush you. He gives you space to finish your thoughts, even when they come out slowly. His attention isn't shallow, it's anchored. When you talk about your past, your fears, your dreams, or even something as simple as your daily routine, he holds every detail like it matters. A caring man listens to your silence too. He picks up the emotions you don't say out loud, the pauses between your sentences, the slight change in your voice. He senses when something is on your mind even before you bring it up. Listening becomes his love language. He's not interested in dominating the conversation. He'd rather hear you speak, because your voice matters more than his desire to be heard. When he does talk, it's because he wants to respond thoughtfully, not react impulsively. Real care shows in the way he listens, steady, patient, and present. 5. He puts effort into making you comfortable. A man who truly cares pays attention to your comfort in every situation, emotional, physical, and social. He notices what makes you uneasy and tries to remove it. He notices what makes you relax and tries to create more of it. His effort isn't loud or showy. It's gentle, consistent, and thoughtful. He adjusts the room's lighting because he remembers bright lights hurt your head. He chooses a quieter corner because he knows crowds drain your energy. He walks slower when he realizes you're tired. He asks if you ate, if you rested, if you need anything, not because he wants to seem caring, but because he genuinely wants you to feel okay. He offers his jacket without thinking twice. He moves obstacles out of your way. He opens doors, not for show, but out of instinct. He makes plans that fit your comfort level, avoids things that overwhelm you, and pays attention to the little cues you give without realizing. When you're emotional, he doesn't dismiss you. He gives you space, warmth, or reassurance, whatever you need. He adapts to your mood rather than forcing you to match his. Comfort becomes his priority because your peace is important to him. A caring man creates a safe environment around you without ever making you ask for it. 6. He protects you in subtle ways. Protection doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it's silent, small, and almost invisible unless you pay attention. A man who cares will shield you without making a scene. He'll stand on the side of the road closest to traffic. He'll walk slightly ahead in dark areas. He'll slow down when he senses you're uncomfortable. He notices potential discomfort before you do, an awkward crowd, a strange environment, someone staring too long. He positions himself in a way that makes you feel secure. His protective instinct activates naturally, not out of control, but out of genuine care. He defends you even in conversations. If someone speaks over you, he redirects the space back to you. If someone disrespects you, he subtly steps in. His goal isn't to fight your battles. It's to make sure you never feel alone in them. He checks if you got home safely. He worries when you're out late. He reminds you to rest, to hydrate, to take care of yourself. These small actions may look ordinary, but they carry deep meaning. He doesn't try to own you. He simply wants you safe. And safety offered quietly, consistently, and without manipulation is one of the strongest signs of real care. 7. He prioritizes your feelings and decisions. When a man genuinely cares, your emotions become an important part of his choices. He doesn't make decisions in isolation. He considers how each action might affect you. Even in small things, like choosing a restaurant or planning a weekend, he checks in with you because he wants you to feel included and safe. He pays attention to your boundaries, your triggers, your comfort zone, and the things that make you anxious. He doesn't dismiss your feelings as dramatic or too much. Instead, he pauses and listens. He thinks before reacting. He reflects before answering. He wants every decision around you to carry respect. If something makes you uncomfortable, he adjusts. If something makes you happy, he leans toward it. You can tell he prioritizes you when he asks, "How do you feel about this?" or "Does this work for you?" He wants alignment, not dominance. He wants harmony, not conflict. Even in disagreements, he avoids hurting you. He chooses calm over ego. He makes choices that protect your heart rather than prove a point. A man who prioritizes your feelings understands that emotional safety is the foundation of real connection. He chooses you, not just in words, but in the way he decides, reacts, and responds every day. 8. He makes time for you no matter how busy he is. A busy man who cares will never be too busy for you. He doesn't magically have extra hours. He creates them. Whether he's tired, overloaded, or mentally drained, he still finds a moment to reach out, check in, or simply hear your voice. He values your presence enough to make space for it in his crowded world. He doesn't leave you waiting. He doesn't make excuses. He doesn't show up only when it's convenient. Instead, he rearranges schedules, shortens his breaks, or calls you while walking between tasks. Not because he must, but because he wants to. When you matter, effort becomes instinct. He remembers your important days even when his own calendar is full. He texts you when he's in meetings. He listens to you when he's exhausted. He meets you halfway always. Time is one of the most honest forms of care. Anyone can say they care. Few people sacrifice their time to prove it. A man who consistently makes room for you is silently showing that you're not an option. You're a priority. 9. He supports your goals without competition. Real care shows up in how a man reacts to your dreams. He doesn't compete, belittle, or minimize your ambitions. Instead, he becomes your quiet cheerleader, someone who wants to see you grow, achieve, and evolve, even if it means you outshine him. He listens when you talk about your goals. He encourages you when you doubt yourself. He pushes you gently when you start losing momentum. He gives advice when asked and support when needed. His pride in you is genuine, not threatened. You'll notice he never downplays your success. He celebrates your wins, big or small, as if they're his own. He asks about your progress. He remembers your deadlines. He motivates you on the days you feel drained. A man who cares wants you to rise, not shrink. He doesn't see your growth as a challenge to his masculinity. He sees it as a chance to stand beside someone strong, capable, and driven. His support is steady, not performative. And when a man stands behind you with zero jealousy, zero insecurity, and zero competition, it's one of the clearest signs he genuinely wants to see you win in life. 10. He adjusts his behavior to make you smile. A man who cares pays attention to the things that make your eyes soften, your voice brighten, and your tension fade. He notices the tiny moments that spark joy in you, and without ever announcing it, he begins shaping his behavior around those things. It might be the way he speaks more gently because he knows softness comforts you, or how he becomes more playful because he loves seeing you laugh. He adjusts in small ways, the way he texts you, the way he greets you, the way he listens more deeply on days when you seem overwhelmed. He learns what jokes make you laugh, what reassurances calm your mind, what gestures bring light into your day. You won't find him pretending to be someone he's not. Instead, he becomes a better version of himself around you because caring naturally makes him more attentive. He notices what irritates you and avoids it. He notices what relaxes you and repeats it. If he sees your mood shift, he adapts instantly. Softer tone, patient presence, a little humor, or quiet support. These adjustments aren't manipulation or performance. They are instinctual responses from someone who genuinely wants to be a positive presence in your life. When he changes small parts of his behavior to make you smile, it's a subtle form of love, one that doesn't need words, only consistency. 11. He remembers dates that matter to you. A man who cares remembers the moments that are meaningful to you, not because he set reminders, but because your happiness marks the timeline of his heart. He remembers your birthday, of course, but he also remembers the quieter, more personal dates. The day you achieved something big, the day you went through something painful, the day you mentioned casually but emotionally. He brings up the anniversary of your accomplishments. He acknowledges the memory of a loss that shaped you. He celebrates moments that matter to you, not just the ones society labels important. Remembering dates is his way of saying, your life matters to me. Your moments matter to me. He doesn't treat your emotional history lightly. If a particular date makes you anxious, he supports you through it. If a date brings joy, he shares it with you. He remembers not just the calendar event, but the emotional meaning behind it. This kind of care is rare because it requires attention, empathy, and emotional presence. He doesn't forget the things that hold value in your heart. When he remembers dates that matter to you, he's really remembering you, your journey, your growth, your pain, and your joy. 12. He shares personal things only with you. A man's true feelings are revealed not by what he says to everyone, but by what he reserves only for you. When he cares deeply, you become the person he trusts with the parts of himself he hides from the world. He begins sharing pieces of his childhood, his fears, his insecurities, his struggles, and his dreams, not because you asked, but because he feels safe with you. He tells you things that he never said out loud before. He opens up about his past mistakes, his emotional wounds, or the moments that shaped him. He talks about his goals, his fears of failing, his hopes for a better future. These aren't conversations he has casually. They're the parts of his heart he only unlocks for someone who matters. He doesn't worry about being judged. With you, he doesn't feel the need to look perfect or strong all the time. Vulnerability becomes natural because he trusts your presence. When a man shares personal things only with you, it's his way of saying he sees you as part of his emotional home. This level of openness is one of the strongest signs of care, because men don't share deeply unless they feel deeply. 13. He tries to fix things when you're upset. When a man truly cares, your sadness affects him in ways you may not even notice. He doesn't just watch you struggle, he feels it. And instead of stepping back or pretending not to see it, he steps forward quietly, trying to make things easier. He listens carefully to what's bothering you, not to lecture or judge, but to understand how he can help. He might not always have the perfect words, but he shows up with effort, offering comfort, asking what you need, or simply sitting beside you without saying a word. Sometimes he tries to solve the problem directly. Other times he focuses on lifting your mood, distracting you gently, or reminding you that you're not alone. He doesn't get irritated when you're emotional, nor does he shame you for having a bad day. Instead, he becomes more patient, more gentle, and more attentive. He pays attention to the little actions, making you tea, turning down the noise, giving you a warm hug, or sending you reassuring messages. His goal isn't to fix you. His goal is to make the situation feel easier to handle. Even when he can't solve the issue, he tries to lighten the weight on your shoulders. And that effort, that instinct to help rather than disappear, is one of the strongest signs that he genuinely cares. 14. He includes you in his future plans. A man who cares deeply doesn't see you as temporary. He naturally starts imagining tomorrow with you in it. Without making dramatic promises, he begins speaking in we instead of I. You'll hear it in the subtle ways he talks about the future, places he wants to visit with you, experiences he wants to share, goals he hopes you'll witness. He might ask how you feel about certain plans, places, or long-term decisions because your perspective matters to him. He wants your dreams to fit next to his, not compete with them. When he thinks ahead, he doesn't picture you as a background detail. He sees you as a core part of the journey. He introduces you to important people in his life. He tells you about long-term ideas, career goals, family traditions, life ambitions, not to overwhelm you, but to show you he hopes you'll be there for those milestones. A man who includes you in his future isn't afraid of commitment. He looks forward to it. He doesn't need big speeches. His consistency is the proof. If he sees you in his future, he will make sure you feel it through his actions, words, and emotional investment. 15. He makes efforts to reduce your stress. When a man really cares, he becomes attentive to the emotional and mental load you carry. He notices when you're overwhelmed, even when you try to hide it. Instead of adding pressure, he works to ease it in thoughtful, practical ways. He offers help before you ask. He does small tasks for you because he knows you're exhausted. He checks if you've eaten, if you took breaks, or if you've been pushing yourself too hard. His presence becomes calming instead of demanding. He tries to simplify things, helping you plan your day, encouraging you to rest, or reminding you that it's okay to slow down. He listens when you vent and doesn't dismiss your stress as overreacting. He values your peace, so he avoids bringing chaos into your life. Even in conversations, he keeps things gentle. He doesn't pick arguments when you're tired. He chooses empathy instead of ego. He adjusts his tone, his timing, and his approach because he wants you to breathe easier, not harder. Reducing your stress becomes natural for him, not an obligation. It's one of the purest signs of care, a quiet message that says, I want your world to feel lighter when I'm in it.